So, I've talked before on how broken the business model for comic books is. Let's talk about it some more just because it's a topic I never get tired of. My name's Eagle. I am the publisher at No Earth Comics, and today we're going to talk about a tragedy within the comic book world. And I've made mention of this in some of my other videos. I've made mention of health crisis. I've made mention of retirement problems. I've made mentions of the various problems that artists and writers run into within the comic book world as the financial realities of being a freelancer come to roost. So today we're going to talk about a gentleman by the name of David Hahn. Now, David Hahn is a writer and an artist, and he is a successful writer and artist and comic book creator for Marvel, for DC, and for his own independent projects. Okay, his resume includes the current Batman 66 meets The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and meets Wonder Woman 77. He's done artwork on Lucifer, Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane from Marvel. He's got 3 creator-owned series, Private Beach, All Nighter, and Dayglow. He made it, guys. He took the gamble. He made it. In fact, there's only one thing you do when you are drawing and writing Batman, right? Well, no, not quite. Because, see, there's a difference between your perceptions of being a successful comic book creator and how things actually work. First off, most comic book creators are not employees of the companies that they work for. They are freelancers. And this sounds all lofty. Self-employed, hired to work for different companies on particular assignments. Your own boss. You are the master of your destiny. Yeah, it doesn't actually work that way. Because you are not an employee. You're an independent contractor. You are a freelancer. And so your taxes are higher. You have to provide your own benefits. You wind up having to pay your own taxes. Your taxes are not taken out of your paycheck because your paycheck is not actually a paycheck. It's compensation paid to you as a small business. So where all this comes down to is this is part of a survey that was taken about 2 years ago of a number of different comic creators. And this is a breakdown from the artist portion. And I want you to notice the way that this breaks down. Half of the people in the comic book field that were under this survey are earning less than $12,000 a year. Let that sink in a little bit. That, guys, is $1,000 a month. That is not far off of the professional page rates. Why am I bringing this up? Because you need to understand that David Hahn just posted an article on just posted a post on Facebook, on his private Facebook, and it got picked up by Bleeding Cool News, and it got put on the internet. And in it, he goes through his monthly expenses, yearly expenses, the whole bit. He goes through basically a fairly decent financial picture and points out that him and his partner are living in a one-room studio apartment. And with all of the bills and such that he has, and they're very reasonable bills, he breaks them all down. He's living very frugally. He no longer has enough money for health care. He had the money 2 years ago, but health care prices have risen. And he turns the entire thing into a scree on health care. And he's missing the bigger point. He's missing the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that the money isn't there to begin with. He points out that his page rate has basically stayed flat for the last 15 years. And mind you, this is in line with the numbers I've picked up from various surveys and from various other creators that I've talked to personally and that have posted their financial situations. And the reason I'm bringing all this up, the reason I'm pointing all this out is because I want to make it clear. David has done things correctly. He has built a career, a solid career. Most comic book creators wish they had a career like this. David Hahn's artwork is recognizable. He is working on top name characters. He's A-list. And he can't afford health insurance. Well, let's take this to my situation for just a second. I am not A-list. I'm far from A-list. I'm making hardly anything off of comic books. And those of you who have been following the channel know that I'm going through cancer right now. I am going through the local county health system in order to pay my medical bills. And it's only the fact that I'm living in a county that has one of the best health systems in the entire country that is enabling me to pay my medical bills. But this isn't about medical bills. David ends his entire article with, "Thank you for reading Single Payer Now," in which he takes a social and political position based on his own concerns. And if you go to Bleeding Cool and read the article and then step into the cesspool that is the comments section following it, you see that there's a lot of very, very strong opinions about single payer and privatized health care and the whole bit. But in the end, this is not about health care. This is about the fact that the business model is broken to begin with. David is a freelancer. He has no retirement. He has no money that has been put away because his position within the industry that he has dedicated his life to is simply your work for hire. You are a freelancer. We can use you. We can discard you. And this is why I keep harping on the idea that the current comic book business model is broken. No two ways about it. It is broken. You can't defend it. You can't say, well, it just needs tweaks here and there. It is broken. It has to be fixed. No, scratch that. It can't be fixed. It's broken. It's not going to be able to be fixed by running it into the shop and fiddling with a few things under the hood. This is where we need an entirely new way of doing the comic book business model. And this is one of the reasons why at No Earth we are trying out the two different innovations. We're trying out co-op and we're trying out a shares royalty system. I'm personally of the opinion that in the long run, royalties, or as No Earth does it, shares, are going to be the better way of doing it because they provide you with residual income. Whereas the current work for hire freelance system provides you with money that month and then you never see the money again. This is an industry that needs royalties. This is an industry that needs residual payments. This is an industry that needs ongoing money. If we're not going to turn all of our creators into employees, if we're going to leave them as freelancers, then we need to change the payment model to where their freelance salary includes something for the future. And that's basically all I wanted to say on the subject this time, because otherwise I'm just going to be repeating things I've already said in other videos. But I wanted to get this out there while this is still fresh in my mind. I started reading the article today, and the first thing I knew is I've got to cut a video on this. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen. And check out the other videos that I have already done on the business model of comics. And you'll start seeing the unifying theme running through them. In the meantime, sorry for the videos being so slow lately, as I mentioned. I've got a little setback called cancer. One of the things that I would appreciate you doing is subscribing. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button. Get this out there. This needs to be spread around because we need to be having this conversation as an industry. We need to be having more people talking about this and coming up with ideas, because I'm not the only one with an idea on this, and my idea is not necessarily the right one. But we need to have more people talking about it. We need to have more people understanding that it's broken and we need to do something about it as an industry. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you in some of the forums that I'm frequenting, and we need to be talking about this. So please